Hey, shalom, shalom. The title of this show. Hey, shalom, shalom. Well, it works. Hold on. The title of this show. Hey, shalom, shalom. Well, it works. Hold on. The title of this show. Hey, shalom, shalom. Well, it works.
Hey, want to know how I got this $50,000 check?
Hey, Salakia. You know my professional top grade editing skills. Yeah, I meant to pre-record this because I have a few articles I want to share, and but I went live, just decided to go live anyway. All right, so the title of the show is America Babylon. All right, America Babylon commits a major trespass using frozen Russian assets. Okay, for Ukraine. Once again, the title is America Babylon uses America Babylon commits major trespass using frozen Russian assets. All right, for Ukraine. So this is another thing that's antagonizing. Antagonizing the two major players, which is biblical prophecy, to meet in the battlefield and finally have this war instead of doing proxy wars and whatever have you. But anyway, and Russia says they're going to retaliate. But anyway, first off, I'd like to say, Kal Halal, Kal Halal, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Ruach Kodesh, Thawada, Yahweh, for giving us Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles of GMS who have the 100% spirit of Yahweh Bahashim Shai in them. Double honors to the CT bishops, all right, elders of GMS, our big Akim, and greetings and salutations to the Akim in this country and all over the world who are prophesying in the true name of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, which is none other than the power of the nation of Israel, which consists of you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, and anybody who are descendants from those people on their father's side. All right. And of course, Lord willing, I'm Yaquab, Lord willing, serving the King of the universe, son of Abba Yahweh. All right. And again, no, I'm repeating myself, but once again, the title, America Babylon commits major trespass using frozen Russian assets. And, I've been paying close attention to this situation. And, I saw an article as of, I think, today or yesterday, going into that they're finally tapping in. They finally tapped in to the money and are going to start giving money to Ukraine. But this is something I kind of noticed from an article in May 1st. Right, today is June, I believe 14th, right, 2024, the year of the year of Jacob's trouble. So in May 1st, 2024, I noticed the article going into that, the G7 nations in the EU, they were talking about tampering in or going in to the frozen Russian assets to use to fund to give to Ukraine. All right, and so we did a show in our camp. All right, I have the campsite I'm about to show. We went into that at camp, and what we went into it that day of that camp was to say that this is gonna escalate the war exponentially, man, because basically they're going into money, proving that America guy has no money. All right, and now they're tapping into Russian frozen assets to keep supplying money to the Ukrainian government for the war. All right, the proxy war that they're fighting through Ukraine. Also, it also proves that remember that, you know, I did a show on it, I believe, going into that, or we mentioned that camp, going into that America has run out of funds, you know, to give Ukraine, you know, and they had to ask Congress, I don't know the process totally, but basically ask for more money from the government. Congress had to approve to give them more money, you know. So the spending for Ukraine is just plummeting America's economy further, free falling down, you know, to a market crash, right? That is part of biblical prophecy we always talk about, and that's going to usher in a new form of currency, which is, we already know, digital, all right? That's another major prophecy, which is MOTB, because we know that what's a common trend all around the world, the nations are dropping the dollar, all right? That's been going on for the past years, man, past 5, 6, 7 years. But really, since the lockdown, it's been increasing in hyperdrive, all right? And especially this year, the past 2 years, and this year, every day. So anyway, so I want to show you this a clip off YouTube. Like I said, I want to pre-record this and chop it up, but then, you know, instincts. I went to my instincts, I guess, or really the spirit. I went to my StreamYard and typed up the show, and I said, "Oh damn, I want to pre-record." So basically, I'm just gonna be showing the camera off and on like that. So, all right, so let's take a look at this clip real quick. I have a clip I want to show, and then a few articles I want to read. So I'm just gonna bring this camera to the TV. All right, so let's take a look. Bear with me, you know, I don't got a stand or anything. I got a whole thing by hand. But like I said, man, I believe, to me in my spirit, this is a very critical. All right, very critical. Let me put it right here real quick. You know, and of course, I'm going to finish off the show with a scripture. All right, but let's get into this. Hold up. Of course, I can't find the remote now. Okay. So I'm about to show this clip real quick. Let me just cue it up real quick.
Back for an accident I was involved in over 5 months ago. Look, if you've been injured in a car accident that wasn't your fault, you have to watch this video. There's a little known loophole that attorneys and insurance companies don't want you to know about. A loophole that allows you on this $50 billion.
Let's see, man. I'm hitting the mute button and it's not even going mute. Anyway, I got the video here real quick, so let's watch a little bit of this. All right, I'm going to turn the camera around, and yeah, let's watch. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. This is better. All right, hopefully you can see that. This is from France 24, a site I subscribe to. You know, they go over world news. So let's play. As you see, it says, "We're not backing down." That's a quote from Biden, right? Sleepy Joe Biden. And he says, Zelensky hail 50 billion G7 loan for Ukraine. All right. But where'd they get it from?
Rob, we're going to focus on this 50. Well, for more, we can speak to our chief foreign editor, Rob Parsons. Hello to you, Rob. We're going to focus on this $50 billion loan. Biden says it'll help rebuild devastated ports, power plants, and buy weapons. But what makes it controversial?
Well, you know, at the beginning of the summit, Zelensky said that.
Oh, yeah. Pay attention to what he says. All right. Pay attention to what he says at the 1 minute and 15-second mark. All right. Because that's really the point of the show, really, too. So pay attention at 1 minute and 15 seconds. All right. Let's play it again.
important decisions are going to be made about Ukraine at this summit, and he was absolutely right. This is a very important decision. 50 billion to be given to Ukraine to be paid, and this is the critical thing, to be paid from the profits made on frozen Russian assets in the West, primarily in the European Union, in Belgium. We're talking about assets worth $325 billion US.
All right, now that's 350 billion US dollars. I mean, he tried to put it on Belgium and the European Union, but really the West is really America, all right, and the EU, okay, the G7 nations, you know, Canada, Japan, all the European nations, all right, that's against the BRICS nations, okay, you know, that's Brazil, Russia, brain fart real quick. India, excuse me, South of Africa and China. And of course, you know, there's other nations that applied with the BRICS as well. You know, other 27 other nations. The biggest one is was Saudi Arabia, you know, which you want them on your side because they control the majority of the oil. All right. But anyway, let's continue. Remember, pay attention to what he says in a minute and 15 seconds. But again, we know that the West, which is America, Babylon, and the EU, they represent the 7 heads and 10 horns in the scriptures, in the book of Revelation, 17 and 18, and all throughout book of Revelations. All right.
So a loan will be taken on the international markets, and the profits accrued from the Russian assets will be used to pay it off. According to Janet Yellen, the U.S. Treasury Secretary, there's nothing illegal about this because, you know, what comes to this will be in U.S. dollars.
That's it, man. Hold up.
Biden says it'll help rebuild devastated ports.
That's it, man. Hold up.
What makes it controversial?
Well, you know, at the beginning of this summit, Zelensky said that important decisions are going to be made about Ukraine at this summit, and he was absolutely right. This is a very important decision. 50 billion to be given to Ukraine to be paid, and this is the critical thing, to be paid from the profits made on frozen Russian assets in the West, primarily in the European Union, in Belgium. We're talking about assets worth $325 billion US. So a loan will be taken on the international markets, and the profits accrued from the Russian assets will be used to pay it off. According to Janet Yellen, the U.S. Treasury Secretary, there's nothing illegal about this because, you know, what comes from the profits, it doesn't belong to Russia. Russia sees things completely differently. You won't be surprised to hear, and are promising an extremely painful response. But there's no doubt from a Ukrainian perspective,
okay, you heard that?
This is
Let's bring it back in.
Promising an extremely painful response. But there's no doubt from a Ukrainian perspective that this is an enormous trouble. Russia sees things completely differently. You won't be surprised to hear, and are promising Russia sees things completely different. You won't be surprised to hear, and are promising an extremely painful response. But there's no doubt from a Ukrainian perspective.
So that was one of the parts I wanted to, you know, for the whoever's watching to pay attention to. And you know, why I'm doing a show on it, Lord willing, is because what he just said, right? Because it is happening, which is it is illegal. All right, they're just trying to make laws to make it somewhat legal to do it, but it's not. You're tapping into Russian assets. Money that they froze from sanctions and regulations, tariff hikes, and but he said that Russia is going to have a very painful response. Okay, so what we know what that means. Okay, we know what that means. Of course, here we go. So let's go to the articles. Salakia. I'm kind of doing this, bootleg. I didn't want to do it this way, but I guess Spirit just had it this way. So I got to keep putting the phone down to pull up what I want to pull up. So the video will be in the description. You can watch the rest. But let me get somebody to these articles. All right.
You can sell this $5 spatula on Amazon and compete with hundreds of other spatula sellers
on this $50 billion loan.
Okay, let's you know what? Listen to another minute of it. Let's listen to another minute, and then I'm gonna go to the article. All right, so let's listen to a little more.
That Russia should be forced to pay for the damage, the destruction, the deaths that it has caused in Ukraine. In addition to that, Ukraine has got other things. We just saw that report.
You know, we don't need to read anymore. All right, so let's go to the articles I got pulled up. I'm gonna go to my articles now.
On this $50 billion.
Salaki out there. All right, let me go to I gotta pull up the articles. Should be okay right here. Okay. Okay. So just show a few things real quick. All right, I got it. Jeez. All right. So let me just show you. So this is the video. All right, that we did on I think May 2nd or something like that. All right, or May 4th. Yeah, May 4th. As you can see, this is the camp page. All right. Let the scriptures speak. NYC camp. This is May 4th. And the title of the show was "I Will Send Unto Babylon Fanners, a Destroying Wind." So, you know, that show was based off an article that I'm about to read right now. Okay. And now we're at this point in June 14th where they're actually using the assets that were frozen by the West in America. Because this point of this camp we did here today was going into that when America taps into the Russian frozen assets, you know, that's going to be a major, it's going to escalate war to another higher level, man. All right, because now you're tapping into their money. Okay, so now let's go to the article I got pulled up. All right, now I'm going to post these articles in the description. I'm only going to read two. So the one that was in May, I think it was this one. Let's see. Okay, yep. This is the one here, right? So this is the again, going back to the camp. We did the show on it, and on May 4th, this was from May 3rd, right? And the whole point was that this is going to escalate the war. So this is the, you know, G20 members lobby EU, the European Union, against seizing Russian assets. So at one point, you know, they always like to put on the show because you can never really trust news to its entirety, you know, but because it's a psyop, you know, they act like they're not going to do something, and then they wind up doing it. That's the same thing they did with the bridge hikes. I think back in like 2011, 2010, the GW Bridge, the Lincoln Tunnel, and all that. You know, I forget the mayor of Jersey. He was saying that, you know, they're not going to raise the bridge tolls and all that kind of stuff. It was from $12, and they wanted to raise it to 17. You know, they made a whole big deal of it on, you know, through the media, right? Which is control opposition. And then they signed a contract and with the state, I guess, and wind up raising the toll, I think, from 12 to like 14. But what was in the fine print was that by 2013 or 14, that the toll was going to be up to $17, which they didn't talk about. So that was a long explanation and showed that sometimes you can't really take these articles when they say they're fighting for against something, because they wind up doing it anyway, which this show is about. So again, this is from May 3rd. G20 members lobby, right, the European Union against seizing Russian assets. So it says Saudi Arabia and Indonesia have reportedly been raising concerns over their own reserves held in the West. Okay, yeah, now I remember them now. All right, so it says, yeah, because there were also, because even though that's Russian frozen assets, you know, a lot of nations dealing with Russia having it deals with them too, you know, because a lot of nations that are dealing with Russia, you know, have invested in Russia, which is part of that, which is part of the Russian assets as well. It says the confiscation of frozen Russian assets could set a dangerous precedent in international law. All right, Indonesia and Saudi Arabia warned the European Union, and the scriptures is called the 7 heads and 10 horns, including America. Right, it said it warned the EU at a recent meeting of the G20 finance ministers. The Financial Times reported on Friday the U.S. and its allies have blocked around 300 billion in Russian central bank assets. All right, now we know it's around 350 right now in U.S. dollars. Let's read it again. The U.S. and its allies have blocked around 300 billion in Russian central bank assets as part of sanctions imposed on Moscow over the Ukraine conflict. Most of the funds are held in the EU, and while Washington has insisted that international law allows for the appropriation of the funds, right, meaning to get it going, basically to borrow it or to use it, it says some EU members, including Germany and France, have been reluctant to take that step. You see, so proving how much of a devil America is, Babylon. Where, remember, this article I'm reading is from May 4th or 3rd, and you know the U.S. is saying that, you know, international law says they can tap into the money that they froze. All right, but the other EU members, the other members of the 7 heads and 10 horns, known in the scriptures, namely Germany and France, they're saying, look, they're hesitant about taking money from frozen Russian assets because it's going to be a big conflict, man. Like we're reading. It says concerns were raised again during the recent G20 finance ministers meeting in Brazil. The FT reported, citing the EU officials, Saudi Arabia's ministers of finance, Muhammad Ajadan, and his Indonesian counterpart, Sri Mulyani Andrade, were reportedly among those particularly alarmed by the potential seizure of Russian funds. All right. So again, Brazil, which is part of the BRICS nations, Saudi Arabia, which is the biggest player in this because they control majority of the oil. Of course, they're under Russia. They invest in Russia. So that's not only Russia's frozen assets. That includes everybody that's dealing with Russia. Okay. So it says both nations are very worried about the future of their own reserves, right, held within the West. All right. An unnamed European official told the outlet, adding that the main concern was whether their money was still safe there. So, excuse me, I misspoke. So, I'm sorry about that. These nations aren't invested in Russia and have their money invested, but as article states, which I misinterpreted, Slack, saying that, of course, that it goes both ways, that these nations have their money invested in America as well. All right. It says, again, both nations are very worried about the future of their own reserves held within the West, right? Because you have these nations that are falling away from America. They still have reserves and investments in America as well. It says, unnamed European official told the outlet, adding, So it says, while the U.S. has been pressing its allies to seek ways to tapping into frozen Russian reserves, opponents claim that such a move risks setting a dangerous precedent in international law with far-reaching implications. So, again, as you see here, it says dangerous repercussions, dangerous precedent. So you got, basically nations around the world warning America, namely Germany and Saudi Arabia, Germany and France, all right, who are outspoken about saying, look, we don't think that's a good idea, all right? That's kind of dangerous to be messing with Russian money, all right? It says, according to FT, Japan, France, it says Germany and Italy. France, Germany, and Italy remain highly cautious on the issue, leading to this stalemate. The outlet noted that some of the most prominent skeptics are G7 central bankers, like European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde, who has previously warned that taking the step from freezing assets to confiscating them could risk breaking an international order that you want to protect. All right, so again, this is from May 4th, and like I said, we did a camp on it on May 4th, that Saturday, and going into like this is just going to antagonize and prove a biblical prophecy that these nations are they're turning their back on America, man, because they stepping out of bounds, even with their allies. Okay, it's a major of course. I always say this before major world wars, right? Which we're in World War III right now. I believe it's just the main event on the main card, like a boxing match. They're not up yet, but they're up there. All right, we're right there. The next up to bat. But again, this is just prove that World War III is here, man. That it's going to escalate. All right, now let's go to my other article here. Lock. All right, this again proves that these other nations are gonna, are turning against America, man. All right, now let's go back. Okay. Now let me read the article from today. All right. So I think this is it here. Let's see. Okay, here it is. I think that one. The EU agrees to give Ukraine. I think that was this is the one I'm going to read. Let me just check that other one. Make sure it's not that. All right, let me just check this. Oh, sorry. Okay, this one. Okay, yeah. So the West this is from June 5th. Okay. So this is what I saved, I think, around that time. West closer to tapping into $300 billion in frozen Russian assets. So I was going to do a follow-up with this last week, but I guess it slipped my mind. And now we're at the point of they're actually doing it now. Okay, so this has been, in the works. This has been kind of going on, the story. So let's read this. It says, EU agrees to give Ukraine and America, right, Babylon, 1.6 billion proceeds from Russia's assets. Okay, so again, the things that Germany and France and Brazil, they were concerned about in Saudi Arabia, Saudi Arabia and Brazil and other nations that are invested in both sides of these nations, they were warning America and the EU not to do so. We know that America controls the EU anyway. All right, the EU follows the dragon's orders. All right, well, not the dragon, the woman dressed in scarlet, the mother of harlots, like it says in Book of Revelations. So it says the funds will primarily bankroll Kyiv's war effort. The European Union Commission Chief Ursula says. It says the European Union has agreed to release profits from Russia's immobilized assets and to use them to prop up Kyiv. The European Nations Union Commission head Ursula She says the bloc has agreed to a new aid package for Ukraine, which includes 1.9 billion, 2 billion from the EU's Ukraine facilities, as well as 1.5 billion in windfall profits generated from immobilized Russian assets. It says the funds are expected to be isolated by the end of July. Let's see what else. So they're kind of breaking down what's going to go to. They're just basically stealing the money. It says official dismissed concerns about the potential implications of the move for the global financial system, insisting that the bloc has done it in line with international law and while ensuring the stability of financial markets. So they're saying they're within law to do it. But again, you had other nations within the EU that were hesitant and warned America not to do so. Okay, see, now you see it says, thus far, neither Kyiv's Western backers has opted to seize the frozen assets themselves, with various legal concerns repeatedly voiced over the potential move. Last week, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, which the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, they control, right, international banking families, reiterated its position that such a decision must have a solid legal basis. So even the IMF, which we know they're the ones really controlling war in general, all war is behind the scenes, because on a deeper level, we know that if you're in the know, war is the biggest profit maker for a nation. All right, that's why America is always involved in war. Let's read this last thing. It says, we have made our position clear in public, which is that what is important for us, for the IMF, is that any actions taken have sufficient legal underpinnings, and they do not undermine the functioning of the international monetary system. And so that the position is clear, and we have stated in the public on many occasions. Let's see. It says Moscow, Russia, has repeatedly called out the collective West over freezing Russian sovereign assets, warning that any attempts to seize them would be met with reciprocal response, okay, with assets, property, and business of Western companies in Russia set to take the fall for the actions of their governments, you see? So that's a big deal. So there can be an economic response, which would be a crash, or the money in America being disrupted. It already is. But as it says here, it says Russia said, warning that any attempts to seize them will be met with reciprocal response. So same kind of this, they're going to attack your economy somehow. All right, they're going to seize your assets, your property, your business. So who knows what that might be? All right. Okay. So, Shalom. I'm just seeing you brothers on the comment board. Okay. So again, those articles, they will be in the description. You can check it out. Hey, Shalom, comment board family. Shalom. Great millstone bread. Shalom, beloved. All right. Now let me just get this article. I just want to read, not article. Let me just get the scripture. All right. On this that I thought of. This is Sirach. Man, if I can get two. This is Sirach 21:8. And that's, again, that's, hopefully you can see me. It's kind of dark. You can see me, right? Okay. So, again, that's America, Babylon's MO. All right. They're all about stealing. Well, let me get that. I had a spirit kicking in with the scriptures. I'm thinking about this one right here. We all know this. St. John 17. Is it wait a minute. Oh no. St. John 10:10, right? It reads, it says, This is out of the Lord's mouth, all right, Lord Yahweh Shai. It reads, the thief cometh not. The thief cometh not. All right, so it's describing a thief, right off the bat. It says, the thief cometh not, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. All right, so the first part of what the Lord said, Yahweh Shai, he says, the thief cometh not. So the Lord Yahweh Shai is describing a thief. And that's what America is, man. All right. It says, but for to steal. All right. So again, this situation that's going on with America, Babylon, right, freezing Russian assets, right, which other nations like Saudi Arabia, Brazil have concerns over that because they're invested in Russia, you know, which is going to biblical prophecy. Russia is the head of the nations. Even the hermeneutics of Russia means the head prince, right? My Apostle Hall brought that out. Ra, in the Hebrew, Ra'ah, or means the beginning, the headings. And Shah, the prefix of Russia, Shah goes back to Shar, which means prince. So Rashar, or Russia, right? So head prince. Going back to Ezekiel, 30th chapter, the chief prince of Gog and Magog. All right. So anyway, the other nations, all right, they invested under Russia, which is the head of those nations, the BRICS. Right. And they're saying, look, you tap into the frozen assets, you're tapping into our money. All right. That's what Brazil's saying to the West and America. Right. And again, you have within the EU, within the European nations, within the 7 heads and 10 horns, right? France and Germany, they're saying, look, they're hesitant. They're reluctant to tap into that money, going back to May when they were talking about it. But now they've done it. They've done it June 15th. They've done it. So my point is, through the spirit, that this is critical. Along with other stuff that America did. I think they assassinated or killed somebody in the Russian government. But this is critical. When you mess with people's money, you know, a conflict happens. Before World War, there are always economic wars. Okay, this is an economic war right now. And again, the Lord said, the thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill. All right. This is a proxy war that's going on. All right. Ukraine is really America, man. Now, I can't really say too much on YouTube. We already know they have, what Alex said, I don't give a damn. I don't care. You know, the biggest, we'll just say child trafficking. Okay. Ukraine was known, you know, for having the biggest child trafficking in the world. And also big in child pornography, man. That's all down America's MO. You know, they're sexual perversions, man. All right. So also, I think they have the biggest grain exported in the world, Ukraine. So it's a hot commodity in the world market. Okay. And they don't want to lose that to Russia. But Russia trying to claim that land back. That's what's going on, along with other things, deeper things that are going on. All right. But what was I saying? That that again, well, let's keep reading. I forgot what I was saying. All right. Oh, yeah. And yeah, so I was saying that because it says, but to steal and to kill, right? All these people dying over there in this war, right, is really because of America, man, and the EU. All right. That's like it's no different from I always pick Mike Tyson or Bruce Lee, right? Let's say Mike Tyson. It's no different from Mike Tyson, right, who's a legend in boxing, and one of your friends who's a boxer you go to the gym with, or any regular dude, you trying to entice an amateur and kind of puff up his head like he can actually beat Mike Tyson, an amateur with 5 fights, right? So you trying to puff up his head like he could actually have a chance against Mike Tyson, man, which he, of course he don't. So the America is that person, right, puffing up the government of Ukraine to make it seem like they can beat Russia, which they can't. Just like an average amateur fighter has no chance against a legend like Mike Tyson, right? Or average fighter have no chance against someone like Bruce Lee, right? So all these people dying, so that person go and, you know, with you puffing up that dude, the amateur fighter, to fight Mike Tyson, and he gets fucked up and paralyzed or coma, right? It's because of what you told him. You convinced him that he could actually have a chance to have a chance against Russia, right? So America's doing the same thing with Ukraine. They're the ones puffing up, like they have a chance to even go to toe-to-toe with Russia, and they don't. So all the people dying in this war is America's to blame. Of course, with them giving them, you know, certain military technology like advanced tanks that you need a year to train in, over a year to train in these tanks, and you know, America's sending these tanks over, these state-of-the-art military tanks over, like they're going to use it properly. They don't know what the hell they're doing with all of these weapons that they're giving him. You know, along with the money that they're giving him, which is plummeting the American economy, which is going to biblical prophecy. We know the market is going to crash, along with puffing up a nation that has no chance against Babylon. Okay? So America's behind that, man. It says, and to kill, all right, and to destroy, all right? This is being purposely done on a deeper level, man. This is being designed, the implosion of America, man, on many fronts, morally, you know, and well, in this case, we're talking about economically, you know, the finances of Babylon, because we know that the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, the international bankers, for them to push in the New World Order, right? America it doesn't coexist. It got to go down, along with the dollar. That's why spending's out of control. They're doing this on purpose, and they want to antagonize World War with Russia. They're instigating Russia. Okay, and again, to me, Lord willing, through the Spirit, Lord willing, you know, I think this is critical with all the other things that's been going on between America and Russia, or the EU. I think this is critical because, again, you got within the EU, they disagree with America going into that, even the IMF, right? And which proves that they're going to blow America's own allies will blow them to smithereens, man. And along with Russia, again, they stated they're going to have reciprocal response to this. So whatever you did to them, they're going to do to you. They're going to do something somehow that's going to fuck up America's money even worse. All right, so that was out for that. Now let's go to this one. Sirach chapter 21, verse 8. What I was thinking about, it says, He that buildeth his house with other men's money is like one that gathereth himself stones for the tomb of his burial. And that's what I thought of through the Spirit, Lord willing, is that's America's MO, man. First of all, they did it with us, our people, the Lord's people. All right, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, these damn devils, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, international bankers, the Edomites, the devils of the world, the wicked, all right, that control the whole world, Job 9:24, right? They've done that to us, starting with this transatlantic slave trade, you know, by not paying your so-called workers, right, which they try to teach in the schools now, and the governor of Florida, Santos, tried to say, oh yeah, the slaves, you know, we gave them a trade, you know, or that other insider, Kanye West, his dumbass years ago, his ass saying, you know, that America, that the slaves came here for opportunity and shit, you know what I mean? But the point is that when you don't pay your workers, right, saying it loosely, or your slaves, that's what a worker is, you know, and you get 1,000% profit back. All right. So and so America was built off stolen, if you want to call it that. I'm trying to say it very carefully. That should never happen anyway. We know that's against the scriptures. Slavery in itself. All right. But let's say they were employed, you were supposed to pay them, and you never did. So you stole our money, man, by not paying us. If you follow what I'm saying. And furthermore, through the transatlantic slave trade, all that money that was made, again, I always bring out, that was the first international major global network, $1 billion global network, right? Off the blood and the depth of our people, the Most High's people. And that's what built America, man. He that built his house with other men's money is like one that gathered himself stones for the tomb of his burial. All right. So that's the scripture I thought about. I got one more. That's the scripture I thought about because, again, you know, you're tapping into other men's money, another nation's money, you know, Russia. And they're using it for their own. Now, we know that, you know, some of that, majority of that's not going to go to Ukraine. You know, this is going to be split up by the, you know, whoever's going to take hold, man. America, of course, and other people in the esoteric society we don't know of. You know what I mean? Well, the elites, we know that. But this is you know, I believe this is being orchestrated, of course, by Yahweh Shai, right? But really through the elites, right, to antagonize this war, man, where Russia and America go head to head, which is biblical prophecy. All right, so I got this final scripture, Isaiah 14. One of my favorite scriptures dealing with prophecy. All right, this is Isaiah 14, and I feel like it's a little dark. Okay, you probably see me better. Okay, Isaiah 14 and 24 reads, "The Lord of hosts has sworn," right, which is the Lord Yahweh Shai from the power of the Father, our Father Yahweh. It says, "The Lord of hosts hath sworn, saying, surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass. And as I have purposed, so shall it stand." Just talking about prophecy, okay? Again, the Lord of hosts hath sworn, saying, surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass. So again, when we're no different from the Heavenly Father and Yahweh Shai and the angels as far as decision making, all right? And your decision come from your thoughts. Well, really, I mean, I go too far, but you know, when you think about something, you know, you when you act out something, it's thought about first, obviously, right? So no different from the Most High, man. The Most High thought about this, and he's acting it out. The way the Lord is acting out his thoughts is through biblical prophecy, man. Okay. And it says, surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass. All right. And what are the Most High's thoughts? That again, that the Lord, he's going to send his son, right? Which is biblical prophecy, right? Which is going to come to pass, right? Because what's the key thing about the Lord coming back? He's going to interrupt World War III. He's going to, all the nations of the world, just like in the movie Independence Day, they're going to turn around, right? And fight against the Lord. Fight. And how's it going in the scriptures? They shall fight in the air, or I forget how it goes. The angels of Esau and the angels of the Most High fight a war in heaven. I'm not saying it right, but you know what I'm talking about. That's biblical prophecy, man. Okay, so there has to be a war. Obviously, there has to be war when the Lord comes back, and this is all pointing towards that. Okay. Okay, so Again, the Lord of hosts has sworn, saying, surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass, and as I have purposed, so shall it stand. So what's going to come to pass is this World War III. It's, you see, and this is a critical point to that. We're already in World War III. But again, just like a boxing match, when you got your preliminary events and you got the undercards and you got the main event, we're at the undercards now. Okay? The next one is the main event. We're right there at the main event. I believe this thing with the EU and America did is a critical to get to that main event of World War III. And that's what's going to come to pass. That's the Lord's purpose. The Most High is going to send the Lord back to enter World War III, because that's what we're going to have to be saved from, the destruction of America, man. Okay? The destruction of America by intercontinental ballistic missiles. I like saying it that way. It's more real. Okay? ICBM nuclear missiles. Biblical prop, they're going to rain on America, man. So there's no escape. That's the purpose of the Lord. Why? To exterminate the wicked, to cleanse this world, because the Lord's about to move in. So he's renovating the wicked by fire. All right? And simultaneously saving the elect and the 1/3. All right? That's Jacob's trouble, man. The captain of Jacob's trouble. We need to be saved from this, man. We need to be saved from the destruction that, false prophets, they don't want to talk about. All right? A true man of the Lord is going to prophesy of these things, man. Starting with who are proven to be the apostles of GMS, CT bishops, and on down. Okay? Now let's read more, because it goes into America, right? So Isaiah 14 and 24. I'm going to start from, I'm going to read it a little more. The Lord of hosts has sworn, saying, surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass, and as I have purposed, so shall it stand. This world is made for Yahushai and the nation of Israel. Period. All right? That's the purpose of the world. Even your other nations. All right? Your assimilation for the nation of Israel, to make us better. All right? And to prove the glory of the Most High. And you damn Edomite devils, man. Rothschild, Rockefellers, you ain't nothing but a goddamn simulation. All right? To prove the Lord's glory, man. And that's what time we're in. It says that I will break the Assyrian in my hand. All right? That's what's going to stand. That's his purpose. All right? Why? To set up the kingdom of heaven, man. Assyrian represents America. That I will break the Assyrian in my land, and upon the mountains tread him underfoot. Then shall his yoke depart from off them, and his burden depart from off their shoulders. So that's right. Who is that talking about? That's talking about the Lord's people. That when the Lord comes back, not only will he claim his throne on earth from the power of the Father and save the 1/3, starting with the elect and the 1/3 of the nation of Israel, but it's it. That's it for Israel being in captivity. The nation of Israel is set up and the kingdom is established, man. All right? This is it. We're not going through no more slavery. We're not being under subjection no more, man. So it says, the yoke shall depart from off them. So no more yoke. That represents the slavery. No more captivities. And this burden depart from off their shoulders. Okay? Being a slave is a burden, man. Being what we're not supposed to be is a burden to us, right? But not anymore when the Lord come back. This is the purpose that is purposed upon the whole earth. And this is the hand that is stretched out upon all the nations. For the Lord of hosts has purposed, and who shall disannul it? And his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back? It's already over, man. Like Elder Zachariah, our mentor, my big brother, if he's watching, he always says, he said these years ago to me, right? And all of us, he's been in his videos, that the future already happened, man. The kingdom's already here, on a deeper level, on a deep level. Not to go too deep. It already happened. We're reading it. We're reading the story. You know, this is the book, the manual of the movie that we're in. It already happened. We're just here to understand the position, why we're in the position we're going to be in the kingdom. I'm talking about Israel. You know, you're going to know why you were 2/3 in the kingdom and the elect. We're going to know why we're the kings of the new world in the kingdom. I mean the government body. So we're here to understand our positions, you know, in this lucid dream. All right. But let me go back to this. It says, for the Lord of hosts has purposed, and who shall disannul? Yeah, so this can't change. It can't change because it's already written. And his hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back? All right. So again, you know, the Lord's hand is stretched out for the elect by these prophecies, okay, that are undeniable, man. And one thing that's gonna keep, one thing that you can guarantee, that there will be no peace between America and Russia. There will be no peace between the BRICS nations and the opposing parties, whatever you want to call it, nations, the G7 nations, or the EU. All right, that ain't, you can guarantee that. Because let's say they make a peace agreement and everybody gets together, and then we look like idiots. But that's not going to happen, man. It's been escalating, and this can easily de-escalate, man. Ukraine has no chance against Russia, right? I think. I just saw something real quick before I log off, that Putin has just proposed a peace offering to Ukraine, their last chance. You see, but there's not going to be any peace. All right, the only peace there is when the Lord come back, because He's the King of peace, the Prince of peace. All right, and like it says in Isaiah the 2nd chapter, there will be no war no more. All right. This is the war that will end all wars when the Lord come back. All right. That's going to end everything, man. All right. When you see the chariots do maneuvers that your brain can't comprehend. All right. My favorite word. The paradigm of understanding, well, it's going to really be changed by the spiritual power. That's coming soon. All right. People, you know, the world's going to change very soon, man. Your understanding, your reality didn't sit in yet. When the spiritual power come and them chariots want to be no more, then reality is going to change, man. All right. And the glory of the Lord was going to escalate. And I can't wait for Yahweh Shemashah to get these false prophets too, man. That's going to be a good day. You didn't learn from what's his name? These other camps. You didn't learn from Polite, right? You didn't learn from what happened to Polite. You see, but that's stubborn Israel though. That's what proves that we are those people. Jake don't listen to nobody, man. All right, you got other nations that listen to us rather than our own people. You know what I mean? That proves that we are those people, man. It's starting with these false prophets. But anyway, talk long enough. So I pray Yahweh Shemashai and the Kodash, Ruach Kodash was with this video. And again, you know, Lord willing, you know, to me, in my humble opinion, I think this is very critical. I've been paying attention to that, and I just saw an article on it, and they tapped into it. They did it, and now Russia's saying they're gonna retaliate. All right, they're gonna do something back, bad. So kala halal for that, man. All right, kala halal. All right. So hey, we still in a year of Jacob's trouble, boy. All right, halfway through the year. You ain't seen nothing yet, man. It's gonna get worse, and things are happening. All right, things are happening. With that, Kal Halal, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Ruach Tawada, Yahweh for giving us Yahushai, double honors to the apostles, elders of GMS, our Begakim, double honors to CT bishops, elders of GMS, our big brothers, and shalom to you brothers in this country and all over the world, prophesying in the true name of Yahweh Shemashai. Shalom. All right, shalom, come boy family. Shalom.